Hello everyone, welcome to Global Hopper. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world. This is the end of May, and I think it's the time for most people to start planning for their summer holiday 2024 or Easter holiday 2025. Now, recently, I've spent around about 3 weeks' time traveling around China. It is my home country, but I haven't been back for ages. What I have seen in China absolutely blew my mind. It was such a beautiful journey. And however, I can really understand that the apprehension some of the foreign travelers who are planning to go to China for the very first time might feel, because things are done differently. Apps, technology, many things are different to the rest of the world. So I decided to put this comprehensive travel guide, especially for you guys who are planning to visit China for the very first time. Now, this video is time-stamped, so please feel free to jump around to different chapters that is the most relevant to you. However, I do urge you to watch the whole video because it really contains some fantastic information from a local. Now, this video will cover the following subject: visa, money, accommodation, transportation, and other very useful informations and telecommunication as well. So without further ado, let's dig into the first issue: visa. Okay, so visa perhaps is the most relevant issue for most foreign travelers. Now, since the beginning of this year, China has relaxed its visa policy. These 12 countries can visit China free of visa for up to 2 weeks. And these countries are Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Spain, and Switzerland, and one Asian country as well, Malaysia. So these 12 countries, citizens from those 12 countries can visit China free of visa for up to 2 weeks. Now, if 2 weeks is insufficient for you guys, then what you can do is, once the 2 weeks period comes up, you can simply fly to either Macau or Hong Kong and then re-enter China. This will give you another 2 weeks automatically at the border. Now, it does not restrict to just Hong Kong or Macau. You can fly to any other country and come back to China. You will be granted for another 2 weeks. For citizens of UK and US and 52 other countries, I'll put the website here so you can see if your country is part of this 52 countries. For citizens of these countries, if you don't want to apply a visa, you can do it this way. This is what the Chinese government called visa transit free, or transit visa free. So if you are from these 52 countries, you can simply use one of those Chinese cities as a transit stop, which will grant you 144 hours of stay without a visa. That equals to about 6 days. So if you are traveling to Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Chengdu, you will be given 6 days visa-free stay in these cities. It's a little bit restrictive. You can't go beyond this city. It's just these 4 cities, provided you have a onward journey. So if you are, say, from the UK, going to, say, Japan, and decided to stay in Shanghai for 6 days, you can absolutely do so. So this is a very good way if you don't want to spend too much time in China and you just want to visit one of these 4 cities. This is the way to do so. Now, if you want to spend longer and getting a proper visa, the process can't be any easier. All you have to do is book your accommodations and your return flight, and book an appointment online and just go and for an interview. The interview process is super easy. It's just basically asking you some really sort of essential questions while you're visiting, all that sort of stuff. The website for the UK citizens to book the visa is here. For the rest of the world, all you have to do is just Google China visa and you will get that, not a problem at all. Moving on, the next issue is money. China is a society that's as close to cashless as any society can get. The predominant way of paying in China is either using Alipay or WeChat. Now, this two payment app is an absolute must. What I recommend that you do is download Alipay and don't bother about WeChat. The simple reason for that is because Alipay allows foreign card to be registered. In order to use Alipay, all you have to do is register your debit card or credit card to the app. Once you get to China, you can, so basically everywhere you go in China, every vendor or supermarket, restaurant, they all have a QR code. All you have to do is scan that with your Alipay app, type in the amount that you need to pay, voila, it's all done. Very, very easy. As soon as you register the card, it's active. The other way of paying stuff in China is facial recognition. So some of the supermarkets have this screen. You can see it here. I'll put a picture here. All you have to do is scan your face, provided your face is registered with your card, and that's a very effective, efficient way of making payment. Third, and certainly not the last, is still good old cash. Now, Chinese currency is called yuan or RMB. RMB simply stand for renminbi, which means people's money. The currency exchange, I believe, I'll put it here for the UK, US, and Euro. In China, it is illegal for vendors to refuse taking cash payments. So you can absolutely pay for everything with cash. However, because cash are used so infrequently, the vendor might not have a change to give you back. Now, if that is the case, the vendor will let you know in advance and will find change to give it to you if they can. So my recommendation is still take cash, just in case the app, for whatever reason, has stopped working. So do take cash. You can also take your card with you. There's lots of ATMs everywhere, so you have no problem withdrawing cash once you are in China. Let's move on to the next topic, and that is telephone SIM card. Hi guys, if you are finding this video guide useful to you so far, please give it a share and like and subscribe to my channel. I still have so many China contents coming up later next week, so please subscribe so you don't miss any issue. The next couple weeks will be in Northeast China, including one very interesting video from the countryside. Anyway, let's talk about SIM card. Now, there are two ways you can do this. Well, three actually. So the first one is you can stay exactly where you are with your local network. So for me, I use EE. Once I get to China, they will charge me $7.99 per day for 512 megabits of data, which is not a lot at all and quite expensive. So what many people tend to do is to buy either a physical SIM card or an eSIM card. So let's talk about the physical SIM card first. There are three major Chinese telecommunication mobile network that are listed here. Any of them will do. They all have a very fast network, 5G. They all have a very wide coverage, so you're not going to go wrong with any of them. You can purchase them right when you land in the airport, which is what I recommend, because as soon as you land, get the SIM card and you're ready to go. The very good alternative, however, is buying eSIM card, which is increasingly popular. These two are the most popular ones online. I'm not sponsored by any of them, so please do your own research. The only reason I'm recommending these two is just because it's the most popular and well trusted. The benefit of a eSIM card is a lot more flexible than the actual physical one. You can register everything while you are in your home country. The moment you land, it will automatically connect. So saving you the step of having to buy a physical SIM card yourself. The very additional benefit is most of eSIM cards come with VPN already installed. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the VPN, is that it is a software which bypasses the local telecommunication network to connect to a network of your choice. So for instance, when you arrive in China from the UK, if you have a VPN, the VPN will bypass the Chinese network and connect to the UK network or a network of your choice. Now, for some of you, you might already know that most of the Western apps do not work in China. So VPN is the way of bypassing that restriction, so you can still watch your YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook, etc., etc. They won't be affected as long as you have a VPN. Going back to the eSIM card, if you have an eSIM card, you don't have to buy a VPN. It comes with the SIM card already. So I highly recommend that you check out eSIM card, do your own research and get the one that's suitable to you. Let's talk about the next topic, and that is accommodation. In China, you have such a vast variety of choices. For the 3 weeks that I stayed in China, most of the hotel that I find really reasonable in terms of price and very clean is the Atour, which I absolutely love, and Rujia Shanglu here. They are around about 60-70 pounds range, so around about $80 to $90 per day. They are very clean, very reasonable for family as well. Almost all hotels in China have a robot delivery for like takeaways or essentials such as toothbrush or stuff like that. Soap, if you're running out, just call them. Here's a video of us getting delivery by the robot. So in the Atour, there is also a gym and a laundry room, which I think is very beneficial as well. So it's slightly more expensive than Rujia Shanglu, but as I said, you can just do your own research and book the one that's most suitable for your needs. The website in the UK is Skyscanner, or in the US might be the same as well, booking.com. I don't need to go on, you can check them out. Needless to say, the hotel qualities are really reasonable. Sorry, the price are really reasonable and the quality very decent, so you won't go wrong with any of them. The other one I was going to mention is that if you don't know how to book it, once you are in China, for whatever reason you haven't booked your accommodation and you're needing to book it in China, you can do so with your Alipay. I put a screenshot here, as you can see. The accommodation is one of the options. Super easy, just tap in and follow the instruction. Not a problem at all. Let's move on to the next topic, and that's a big one, and that's transportation. China is perhaps the easiest country to actually travel around. It has the longest bullet train network, by far bigger than the whole world combined. Every city has a metro system which is efficient, new, and very comfortable. So let's talk about the train system first, because that's the most likely thing that you will use. So in China, if you are traveling like medium distance, anything that's just over 1,000 kilometers or within 1,000 kilometers, I definitely recommend that you go with a bullet train, because the overall door-to-door journey will be faster than taking a plane, because you know, in the airport it takes a long time. In the train stations, bish bash bosh, much quicker. There are two major bullet train systems. They are designated with number D and G. No pun intended. There are D and G. Right, so let's talk about the D train first. Here's a picture, here's a video, in fact, of me walking to see what the D train looked like. D train is the older of the two bullet train system. It's also the slower of the two. However, it is still very fast. The average speed of a D train is around 250-270 kilometers. I'll put the mileage here so you can see. The G train, here's a video of the G train coming to the station. As you can see, it's much more streamlined, much more aggressive looking. This train goes much faster. The average speed of a G train is 300 to 350 kilometers an hour. The mileage is also here. The trains are comfortable, as you can see from these videos, comfortable, fast, and really quiet. It's a fantastic mode of transportation. If you're in China, traveling between cities, this is the one that you have to try out for yourself. It is absolutely amazing. Now, very quickly, because I seen a UK couple who went to China, booked their ticket thinking that it's a first class, and only realized that it's not quite a first class. Classification system on the bullet train in China is different to the rest of the world. First class do not mean first class as in the Western sense. Business class in China is the equivalent of first class in the West. You can see a picture here. First class and standard class has a minimal difference. With the standard class, you have 5 rows of seats, 3 on one side, 2 on the other. First class, you have 4 rows of seat, 2 on each side. There's no other difference. The leg room is the same because they are really generous to start with already. If you really want to splash out, business class is the one to go. The other thing before moving on to other mode of transportation is if you are traveling very, very long distance in China, you can actually order takeaway. Just to the side of your armrest or on top of your armrest is a QR code. Once you scan that, it takes you to a menu. You can choose the one that you want. The delivery guy will automatically deliver to the next station, give it to the train staff, and the train staff will bring it to you without you leaving the seat. So it's very convenient and is quite novel. So do try it out. The other thing I want to mention is don't be shocked once you enter a Chinese train station because nearly all of them are the size of an airplane. Airports. So you can see a video here is absolutely massive. So don't be surprised by that. Although it's large, it is very efficiently laid out. The board that you can see is very similar to those of the airport. It shows you what train you need to take and what's the gate. The other thing I want to mention is that your ticket. Once you book your train ticket, oh, by the way, you can book your train 2 weeks in advance, up to 2 weeks in advance on Alipay. Here is a screenshot so you can see exactly how to book ticket. It's super easy, just follow the instruction. Once you have booked your ticket, you will not receive an e-ticket. You will receive an email confirmation, but not a ticket because there's no e-ticket or physical ticket as such. Your ticket is linked with your passport number. So all you have to do is once you start queuing, give the staff your passport. He or she will automatically scan your passport and you can just go through like that. Your passport number is your ticket number, so you won't get tickets, don't panic. Now let's move on to metros. Pretty much all cities in China has its own metro system, so it's very convenient for you to travel from place to places. The metros are clean, air-conditioned, very comfortable and efficient. The one in Shenzhen, for instance, because Shenzhen is quite hot, one of the trains actually has 2 categories: normal temperature and super cool temperature, or cold and super cold. So here's the image you can see. You can just choose whichever that's suitable to you. The train tickets are super easy to purchase. In the train itself, it tells you where you are and where you are going next, all in English. Very inexpensive and efficient way to travel around within the city. The staff are very helpful, so if you encounter any problem, just ask them and they will help you. You can also purchase the equivalent of day or weekly travel card, which will bring down the already inexpensive price even lower. So good deal all around. The next one is taxi. Now in China, you can do the old-fashioned way. You can using the taxi app like Didi here. Again, Didi is buried inside Alipay. You can see here. Didi is like Uber. I don't need to go through that. It's the same way as Uber. The other way you can do, of course, is the old-fashioned wave your hand and hoping for the best way. You can do that absolutely. However, I do not recommend that you do that in either Beijing or Shanghai because we had some difficult experience. We were in Beijing last October and we have a hell of a difficult time actually hailing a taxi that way because everyone is so busy. Nobody's going to stop. Everybody is sort of like has passenger already. So any other city, not a problem. Beijing, Shanghai, use the app. In fact, just use the app all around. Moving on to the next one, and that's flying. So if you are traveling long distance, perhaps even the bullet train is not feasible. So for instance, if you are flying from Beijing to Hong Kong, Guangzhou to Xinjiang, or Beijing to Yunnan, or Chongqing to Shanghai, you get my gist. It's very, very long. I do not recommend that you go for train, just go for flight. It's not inexpensive exactly, but very, very efficient. I don't need to explain more about that. Again, you can book your flight same way as you book a train with Alipay right here. The last method, oh no, actually not quite. If you are in the city, you can also use the bike for hire. The software is here, so you can just riding a bike around. So quite a fun way of doing it. The other way, last way, is driving. China do not recognize international driving license or any other country's driving license. So in order to drive in China, you do have to pass the theory test, provided you have a local driving license of your country. However, you can actually driving once with your own driving license without the need of having to pass the theory test first. Only once though, to the length of your visa. So for instance, if you are, say, staying in China for the next 3 weeks and you wish to drive, you will be able to drive once. You will be able to drive the length of your visa. The next time you come to China, you can no longer use this option. You have to pass the test. So that's one way of consider. But to be perfectly honest, the transportation system as it is very convenient. Don't bother driving. Just go with the public transport. It's super fun, super cool, super efficient. Now let's move on to the next. Oh, before I go, very important issue, because if you are traveling in China on the train, what I'm about to tell you applying to bullet trains only, train systems only. It does not apply to metro or plane. All right, train only. Is that if you're gonna have a separate external battery pack, make sure it's under 30,000 amps. Anything above 30,000 amps, you will not be able to carry on board for safety issues. So everything has to be under 30,000 amps. Now, 99% of the battery chargers such as this are under 30,000 amps. So it's most likely that you won't have to worry, but just do check, just double check on the back of the charger. So just double check that to give you a peace of mind. So that's the transportation system. Let's move on to the next issue. Okay, so the next issue are apps. To be honest, this is no longer an issue. The only thing that I will mention is that the VPN that I have mentioned in the beginning of the video. So if you are going with the physical SIM card, do make sure that you have a VPN if you want to continue using your Western apps. Other than that, all the apps that you need are already in the Alipay system. The only other thing I want to mention is map. Now, if you are an Apple user, you are in luck because your Apple Map will work flawlessly in China. If you are Android user like me, then Google Map will still work if you have a VPN or eSIM card. However, because Google hasn't updated its map in China for some time, the information that you will receive from Google Maps will not be the latest one. However, I don't think that's a major issue. The other recommendation that I can use is Petal Maps. Petal Maps you can download in your App Store or Play Store. It's an app system provided by Huawei, and it works perfectly fine in China. So if you're struggling with Google, then get this app. Just get this app just in case. The other one is other useful informations. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is attractions. Now, this video is not about where you should visit in China. I will produce a video like that in the next couple weeks. However, when I say attractions, I mean you need to do your research before you go. So, for instance, if you are in Beijing and you're planning to visit the Forbidden Palace, the Temple of Heaven, do know that these attractions will close on Monday. So they are not open on Monday, so make sure you plan that ahead. Attractions like this are super popular, so please book your ticket in advance to avoid any disappointment. Tiananmen Square, also another very popular tourist destinations. Tiananmen Square will close if there is a major national event or a foreign dignitaries start visiting China. Then that part of the square will be closed, so you will not be able to enter that. Also know that if you are entering Tiananmen Square, there will be a security checkpoint before you enter the square, and the security will demand to see your passport or ID. If you left them at hotel, please make sure that you have a photo on your phone as well, that will do. But just do bring your passport if you can, because that security checkpoint is very strict and will asking you for ID. Just be aware of that. Great Wall of China is absolutely fine. The other very popular tourist destination, that's in Xi'an, and that's the Terracotta Warrior. I think it opens 7 days a week. However, ticket is extremely popular, so do make sure you also book well in advance as well to avoid any disappointment. The other thing is when not to travel to China. This is very, very important. Now, 2 major holidays apart from the Chinese New Year is 1st of May, that week. The first week of May, that's the International Labour Day, and Chinese people will have a week off. Don't visit China during this period because it's absolutely chock-blocked with the internal tourists. It's not going to be an enjoyable experience for you. The other one is 1st of October, National Day. That first week of October is just as mad as 1st of May, so avoid first week of October and first week of May. If you are traveling with children and you are planning to visit the Disneyland in Shanghai, avoid 1st of June, just that one day, not the whole week, just that day. That is the International Children's Day, and all the children in China are off and their parents will take them to Disneyland. You will spend most of your day queuing, so avoid that day. So make notes of these 3 periods. The other thing I want to mention is some useful numbers. 120, 119, and the other one I can't remember. I'll put the notes here. So if you find yourself needing those emergency numbers, you know what to dial. The other thing is I've seen many people, foreign vloggers, come into China, and the common refrain that repeating throughout the video is, "I'm so surprised China is this. I'm so surprised, I'm so surprised, I'm so surprised." Now, Chinese people are friendly, okay? You're not going to have problem. They are not arrogant as you might have thought. They are not. If you are running into difficulty, any questions, please do ask them. They might not speak the language, but they will try their best to answer your question through a translation app. The other thing I want to mention is China is one of, if not the safest country in the world, has the lowest crime rate. You have nothing to worry about as a foreign traveler. Many videos on YouTube has made just how safe China really is. There's lots of social experiments. Don't be put off by the numerous amounts of CCTV that you might encounter in some large cities. There are no fewer than either London or New York. However, those ones are really there to keep you safe, so do not put off by that. You will be safe in China. People are friendly as well. Filming. So if you're a keen photographer or videographer like me and you want to go filming with your cameras, do not be afraid to do that in China. Everywhere in China, you have no problem filming at all. Even private properties such as shopping center, you're not going to have problem. Restaurants. So in most Chinese restaurants, there is a QR code on the table. You scan that QR code, that will bring you to the menu system. You can order it that way. If you are struggling with that system, then do call the waiter or waitress. They will bring you a physical copy as well, so you can order it that way. Just use your Google or Apple translation. Well, whilst we are on the subject of restaurant, just to let you know that there is no tipping culture in China. The other thing I want to mention is language. In major cities such as Beijing and Shanghai, most people will have a basic understanding of the English language, so you will be able to communicate somewhat. In other cities, however, the language barrier can be a problem. But with the technology, with Google Translate, Apple Translate, or you can buy this translation sort of device, that problem is no longer insurmountable. I do, however, would like to recommend or encourage you to learn some basic phrases such as 谢谢, which means thank you, or 你好, which means hello. The other one that you can say I find very useful is how much, which in Chinese is 多少钱. The number that the vendor will tell you either on a calculator or on her or his mobile phone, so you will be communicate. But some basic phrases will really take you a long way, and the Chinese people will be quite excited when you speak the Mandarin back to them. Okay guys, that's the end of this video. If you find that helpful, please give it a thumb up, smash that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss any other content from this channel. In the next few weeks, I will produce another video to recommend to you to where to visit in China, the top 10 places that you should give it a try. In the next few weeks, however, it will just be the continuation of my Chinese contents in Northeast China, which I really do hope you enjoy so far. If you have any questions that I didn't cover in this video guide, please leave a comment down below. I will answer your questions. I promise you that. So just leave it in the comment section. Okay guys, cheerio, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.